Gina Olaya is a living legacy, the daughter of the late Wilma Mankiller, principal chief of the Cherokee Nation. Gina carries her mother's words and wisdom with her each day, but she also carries an unfortunate family trait, the same serious illness that afflicted her mother and many others in her family.
When I was sick the first time, Mom came to me and said, "You don't mourn the past and you don't fear the future. What you do is you live for today." And so when I wake up and my vision's really dark, then I'll figure out how am I going to function today with dark vision. If my vision is way better, then I celebrate that I have better vision that day. But I don't think about what happened yesterday, and I don't think what's going to happen tomorrow. How am I going to feel? What am I going to do? I live in the day, and that's it. And that's what Mom instilled in me. Hello, I'm Gina Olaya, the youngest daughter of Wilma Mankiller. I hail from Tahlequah, Oklahoma, where I've lived for the past 40 years. I'm the survivor of 5 major health issues, although I've kept my job for the past 19 years. I am the director for cultural art and design for Cherokee Nation businesses. What I do is work with an architect to make sure that our buildings look and feel Cherokee before they're actually built. The chief will put together a committee of people. We'll work with that committee to figure out what art we'll put in the buildings. And then it's my responsibility to match those pieces together and then figure out where they're going to be hung within the building. I've done every healthcare facility. I've done most all of the office buildings, and I've done all of the casinos. I was born in San Francisco because my mom's family took part in a relocation program in 1955, and we lived in California until the late 70s when we moved back to Oklahoma. It was really difficult growing up in Oklahoma because we went from roller skating on the street to jumping over cow patties. And then we moved to a house with no running water, barely electricity in the middle of a cow field, and it was a stark difference in how to live. But the lessons that we learned early in life came from living in San Francisco, to not base any friendship on race, color, creed, religion, skin color, LGBTQ, whatever, and to be independent and free and be free thinkers and to do for yourself and not depend on others. All of that was learned in San Francisco. Even though the relocation program was horrific, I believe it also provided a bit of education to those who lived through it. You know, when I speak about Mom, I section her life off into 3 chapters. The first chapter is when we were in California. She was a very free spirit, and we did a lot of traveling. We interacted with a lot of coastal tribal people, and my sister and I went to an Indian school, and it was just vastly different. And then when we came to Oklahoma, Mom started getting into working for the tribe. Her demeanor was changing. Her as a person was changing, and by the time she was deputy chief and then into becoming a chief, she was different. And so she became Wilma Mankiller, that people know in the 2nd chapter of her life. By the time Mom was chief, I was in college. So there was a distance between our relationship because she was off doing what she needed to do. We didn't see her a lot in the years that she was in office. She was extremely busy during her entire tenure as chief. Makes me sad. Just because we miss so much. You know, we only had her for 64 years. So, you know, her missing, you know, different milestones in your young life was sad. But the other part of it is that you become overly just proud of the fact that she was doing what she was doing. She was making a difference. We're in Bell, Oklahoma, Adair County. This is a very special place to our family, specifically to our mom, who started the Bell Water Project here. Had a lot of meetings in this community building.
It brings back that sense of community that my mother built here many years ago, that just remembering the gatherings here and the people that were here at that time, and knowing that a lot of those families are still in this community.
These people became our family.
She brought water to these people, and that's something that generations to come are going to remember here.
Yep, especially when they get their water bill.
Yeah.
And then after she left office and went through the first bout of cancer, which was non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, she became a beautiful mixture of the first two chapters. So the third chapter of her life was still this professional Wilma that was fighting for the rights of everything, basically. But she became fun-loving again. She liked to dance and sing and, have fun. She had a great sense of humor. She knew when she was younger that she had polycystic kidney disease. That's the start of all of our illnesses, is polycystic kidney disease. And Mom was actually with me when I found out I did have polycystic kidney disease. And that's what started the down spiral of my health. I have been through the ringer. I have. And sometimes I can't believe it, I really can't believe that, I just survived my third bout with cancer, and so I lost my entire vision on my right eye due to the cancer. And then, ironically, not a month after I had that procedure, I started losing the vision in my left eye. They ended up finding a tumor the size of a golf ball in my nasal cavity, and it had ruined my optic nerve. So I came home to my son and my granddaughter Mia, and I slept. I slept for 4 weeks. Basically because I couldn't understand how life was going to be with no vision. So after I slept for 4 weeks, I woke up and I knew what I was going to do. I'm going home. I'm going back to Tahlequah, and I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to figure out what it is that I'm going to do to become functional with the limited vision that I have. And so I did that. I have one son, Kellen Quinton, and I wasn't thinking I was a grandmotherly type until Mia came along. And now I'm all in. I'm 100% all in, and giving her Mom's middle name of Pearl took a lot of thought, because you think of a life's growing and them being named after someone so important in history and to our family. I envisioned that name was going to carry her and keep her strong, like her great-grandmother was, and that she's going to do great things with her life too. When you have chronic illness, it's extremely difficult to be functional. There's a story that you have to tell yourself in order to get through it. You've got to tell yourself every day, this is what I have to do. I've got to get up, I've got to be functional, I got to take a shower, I got to get in the car, I got to drive to work. You have to tell yourself that every single day. And Mom had to do that every day. And you can't feel sorry for yourself. Strength comes from waking up every day and praying and saying, I'm going to be a good person, I'm going to make good decisions. I'm going to be nice to everyone. That's where your strength comes from. And she taught me that.